I used her yoga night spare key. A stranger answered from our bedroom. I used to think trust was a lock now. I know it's a door that keeps asking who you are every time you touch the handle. My wife Tessa has yoga night on Thursdays. It's the kind of ritual you protect on the calendar with a little star and a smiley face, because routines can look like love when you stare at them long enough. She leaves at 6, comes back at 8:30, throws a towel over her shoulders like a medal, and collapses on the couch smelling like eucalyptus. And a decision she made without me we keep. A spare key in a magnetic box under the radiator in the hallway. It's a secret we share with our future selves in case our present ones forget I put it there when I locked us out during our first snow, and we had to wait in the stairwell like idiots wrapped in shared shame. It has saved us twice. Both times we laughed on the third time. It saved a story I still don't know how to count. That Thursday my last meeting ended early. I stopped at the corner deli, grabbed the chocolate yogurt Tessa swears is basically a health food if you wish hard enough, and headed home. I thought I would set the table, cut strawberries into hearts like a corny understudy, and be the kind of husband who has surprises that look like effort. When I reached our door, my hand did what it always does, fumbled in my pocket, produced the home key, failed to make the light turn green. I grinned at myself. Wrong key, wrong life, get it together. And reached for the spare under the radiator. The box clicked like a throat clearing. The key was cold and honest in my palm. I opened the door and paused. Our apartment has the kind of quiet you can recognize this wasn't it. The bathroom fan hummed. The bedroom door was closed. Music threaded the hallway, something slow and old with a bass line that knew how to be patient. A voicemail coughed, the polite throat clear of someone about to say the word ready. I stood there with a bag of yogurt and strawberries, inventorying my options. Options are what you have when you refuse to admit you Ray already choosing. I didn't. T kicked the door. I didn't say her name. I backed out the way. A person leaves a church after realizing the funeral isn't the one they came for. I closed the apartment door so quietly. I felt talented down on the sidewalk. The city looked ordinary. People were walking dogs who believed in the now. A bus hissed like it needed to gossip. I went to the cafe on the corner and ordered an espresso. I didn't need the barista asked me for my name, and I answered like I was auditioning for it. I watched our windows for a while. At 8:22, the bedroom light went off. At 8:31, the apartment door opened. Tessa stepped out with her gym bag, hair tied up in the messy knot she calls evidence. No one followed. She saw me through the cafe window and smiled like nothing had ever had teeth. Early, she said. When she came in, she kissed my cheek, an honest brush, not the performance version, and spotted the yogurt bag. You Ray sweet, felt domestic. I said my voice had ironed itself. She didn't mention the music. She didn't mention the fan. She didn't mention that our spare key had been in my pocket, which meant it hadn't been where we leave it. She reached for my hand. I let her. And the thing inside my chest that had been practicing alarms wrote down the time we ate strawberries at the table we bought second-hand and sanded until it forgave us. Tessa talked about pigeon pose and a teacher who said everyone's hips are liars. I told a story about my boss using synergy in a sentence and meaning it. Our laughter matched on the first try. If a stranger had filmed us through the window, they would have called it marriage. I would have called it acting with respect. Later, when she showered, I checked the radiator. The magnetic box was back in place. The key inside was warm, not from metal, but from the fact that it had recently been in a hand that wasn't mine. I put it back and closed the lid like I was tucking in a child at midnight when Tessa rolled toward me and placed her leg over mine in the old choreography of forgiveness. I didn't move. I breathed in through my nose and out through my doubt, and tried to find the version of myself who could sleep like a decision in the morning. I was the man who makes pancakes. I was also the man who heard a cough belonging to someone else inside my bedroom. Both can fry batter, both can pour coffee without shaking the mug. Tonight, I said, as we ate, let us do the river walk. Isn't there a game? She asked. Tessa remembers schedules the way cats remember sunlight. I LLDVR it, I said. When I said DVR, I heard the way the word makes me sound like a husband from 10 years ago who hasn't learned the new verbs. She smiled anyway. At work I wrote taglines for protein bars that promise to get you through your worst day. And I tried not to hate myself for appreciating the accuracy. I checked my phone too much at lunch. I walked a loop around the block in time with my questions by 3. I had decided to be brave in a way that didn't make a scene. When I got home, I put a bottle of wine on the counter and 2 glasses next to it. Tessa came in at 6, kicked off her shoes with her usual efficiency, and leaned against me like a plan. "I want to talk," I said. "That's usually alarming," she said, but her eyes were kind. "Is this the good kind? I came home early yesterday." I said, "Use the spare," heard a voice. I watched her pupils do the arithmetic. "You can teach your face to hide." I didn't open any doors. She walked to the sink and turned the water on like the faucet had answers. She turned it off. "I am sorry," she said. "It was Eli." Eli is a coworker I've never met but have a file on. He exists in stories about deadlines and stubborn music tastes. And the company bowling night. I faked a cold to avoid. Tessa stared at the counter. He was supposed to borrow a book. It got complicated. He's been going through a divorce. And in what I asked, I wasn't angry the way TV says husbands are angry. I was tired in a way that made my shoulders feel like furniture, and he kissed me, she said, and I let him for a second, and then I didn't. She looked up. He left before 8:15. I cleaned the glass. The music was mine. "Why here?" I asked. "Why in our space?" "Because it felt less like a secret," she said. "Because I thought if I didn't hide, it meant I hadn't lied." She laughed once. "Ugly. It turns out that's not how it works." We stood side by side like we were waiting for a bus. "I don't want to lose you," she said, and her hands had the tremor my mug didn't that morning. I also don't know what to do with this part of me that wants to be noticed. I thought of her hips finding honesty in pigeon pose. I thought of the spare key warming itself back into innocence. "We can burn this down," I said, "or we can test it. But if we test it, there are rules." "Open," she said, the word sounding like a window being lifted. "Honest." I said, "No coworkers, no our apartment, no secrets about where you are." Names said out loud. "And if one of us starts to feel more broken than brave, we stop and call it what it is." She nodded like she was being told the weather ahead. "Not the law." "I don't want Eli," she said. "Not really. I want the part of me that he made louder to stop whispering." "Okay," I said. And I didn't know if I was giving us a chance or ammunition. We tried. It felt less like jumping and more like taking off a wedding ring and rolling it between your fingers to see if it still fits. Tessa told me when she met Eli for coffee to end the knot thing. I told her when a woman named Mara at my climbing gym corrected my grip and smiled in a way that made me imagine learning how to fall on purpose. Mara took photos of buildings at dusk because she liked catching the hour when offices confess their emptiness. She said my name like she circled it in a catalog and was thinking about ordering. I told her I was married and trying something that